Hello my friends, welcome back to my trading signals. This time I will be covering 4 crypto predictions for this month of March. You are seeing this video today is the 2nd of March on Sunday. I released these charts to my paid subscribers in the last day of February. So especially you, Franco, I hope you have really enjoyed these profits, these massive profits that we saw. You have been really very supportive of my work with your Solana, with the Solana charts. You have been basically supporting this from the beginning. So I hope you are in profit, and I also hope you keep supporting me, of course. So let's begin with this. We have 4 predictions this time. I'll be covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana as well, thanks to Franco. And I'll also cover IOTA, or IOTA, whatever it's called. So it's a very rare cryptocurrency, but some people have been really asking for it. But I have a surprise for you regarding that cryptocurrency. But before I cover that, let's just begin and do the recap or the brief analysis for Bitcoin, okay? So we have Bitcoin right here. Of course, we saw massive pumps on the 2nd, which is today. Okay, this was in the prediction. There were also many signals regarding this. If I believe correctly, it was yesterday that we saw the news about a massive whale preparing for a massive long with lots of leverage. We also saw today basically the announcement from Trump that basically establishes a crypto basically some kind of crypto reserve. It now includes several cryptocurrencies. So I am very bullish on the list of cryptocurrencies that Trump just released. But still, I think it was a completely green market for all cryptocurrencies. It was shown right here on this box right here and on the circle. Now for the next days, we have basically a massive range of yellow days. It's going to be very hard to define what's actually going to happen. I'll have to go and look each and every single day individually once they start to go. But it's basically guaranteed some volatility, and we can see some range in those days. So one of the days I could potentially see an uptrend, 5 to 7, is a range of days where we can see possibly in the 5, 6, or 7. Of course, remember, this doesn't mean that we're going to see 3 consecutive green days. Of course not. The 5 especially looking like it's going to be very volatile, so prepare for maximum volatility. Around the 8 as well, I see potential for a volatile day and a downtrend. So be careful around those days. Could also be very volatile because we connect with this one. Okay, so the 8, the 5, very volatile days potentially. Around the 9 to the 10, especially the 10, I think, could connect. We could see possibly consecutive green days. That could be good news. Again, the 10 also potentially very volatile, 10 to 12. Massive corrections. I think if I were to say the 12 seems like the most likely candidate. Could be the 11 as well. Basically, just expect massive volatility for the 10 and possibly the 12 as well. Okay. Now this here right here is a range of days where could be potentially very dangerous. Okay, so you can see that from the 12th to the 17th. Basically, all of these days are in red. Okay, I'm not saying we can see a massive 5-7 days of complete corrections, but we can very likely see consecutive corrections in one of these connections. For example, on the 15th to the 16th, on the 13th to the 14th, and we can expect the worst around the 16th to the 18th. So be careful around these days. The 17th could also be very volatile. There's this pattern again of maximum volatility. It's almost guaranteed in like 80 to 90% of the cases. So be aware of this. And right as we end this potentially very bad week, very bad period of the month, we can expect another massive uptrend. Basically the same, 3 consecutive green days, consecutive green circles. Many of these could connect very easily. So for example, 18 to 19, 20 to 21. Okay, so be very aware of this. Around the 19 to the 21, we can expect some massive impulses. But at the same time, from the 90 to 20, very potential, maybe one of these days could bring a surprise. If I were to say, I think the 20 is the one that could bring a surprise correction, because it's the only one that could signal extreme volatility from the circles. And it's also the one that is included in this danger zone right here. So be careful around these days. I think it's going to be very volatile, so we could potentially see nice profits for either short or longing opportunities on perpetuals. So very possible profit zone right here. Around the 22 to 23, basically a range, maybe some kind of relaxation after this massive volatility. From the 23 to the 25, massive corrections as well. 25 is basically prime for extreme volatility. Remember guys, I really doubt that we can see green days around these days. It could happen. I'm not saying it won't happen, it could, but the chances of that happening are not that high in my opinion. Around the 29 to 30 we can expect some volatility, some range. For some reason Bitcoin is showing that around the 29 to the 30 could potentially see some impulses, some green days. It's going to be hard, I guess, to see them, but anything can happen. Basically, February ended on the last day, on the 28th, with a massive uptrend. So maybe it won't be as bad of a closing for March, at least in Bitcoin. Now, let's go to the Solana chart very quickly. Okay, so the first days, very volatile, around the 1 to the 4th of March. Expect some volatility. We already saw massive volatility right here in the second, which was also showing on the green. Guys, I really wish that you really pay attention to all of this, to my charts, because you can just profit immensely from this. So remember, volatility around these days, volatility also around the 4 to 5. We can see maybe a correction. I think we can see it's starting to look like, actually, right here. There are some hidden signals that I cannot talk about, but yeah, it's starting to happen, I think. So maybe the 4 could be potentially the one most likely candidate to see a correction. Volatile on the 7 as well, 7 to the 8, potential danger zone. So very volatile days around the 7 to the 8. 9 to 10, possibly corrections as well. The 10 especially is looking like it could be very volatile. 10 to 11, basically 10 and 11, both of these days will be very volatile. So we can really see a nice impulse followed by possibly corrections. Okay, so be very aware of this, especially the ones of you who have lots of trading experience, you know what I mean. So around the 11 to the 14, we can see a range of days where we can expect more corrections, and I mean really strong corrections. The most likely candidates, in my opinion, I think could be the 12, could be the 14 as well. Now 15 to 16, and this right here forms a range similar to Bitcoin, but you can see, right, it's not as hopeful, not as good, because it's basically dominated right here by danger zones, very close to them actually. So we have 4 to 5, 7 to 8, 11 to 14, 16 to 19, and basically the last one right here, 20 to 21. But these 4 ones, these ones are the ones that could bring the most pain, I think, in my opinion. So be prepared to see potential corrections. The last opportunity zone, at least for Solana, is showing that it could happen from the 18 to the 20. So it's very likely to see possible consecutive green days. Solana is not looking as bullish as Bitcoin. but it can happen. I really can see consecutive green days around these days, especially the 18 and possibly connecting to the 19. Okay, so after that comes the danger zone that I was talking about, the last danger zone, 20 to 21. Possibly, most likely on the 20, it's going to be very volatile, maybe. On the 21 could also be, because right here after the 21 comes a circle on the 22, 23, meaning that whatever happens on the 21, it could develop into the correction right here, 22, 23. So maybe a downtrend range, something like that. Around the 24, more range, possibly a relaxation. It really depends on how volatile these days are. If they are not really that volatile, maybe the 24 will be. On the 25, possibly some kind of respite, some kind of recovery of some sorts. And around the 26 to 27, again, more possible downtrend corrections. Okay, 27 to 29, at least for Solana, is showing that it could be very volatile these days. So in the worst case scenario, we can see volatile corrections. Maybe we can see a surprise impulse in one of these days. But the last circle is red. So remember, guys, what I say. Whenever we have a red final circle, basically means corrections around the last days of the month. So now let's get to the Ethereum chart. I think the Ethereum chart is the one that it's looking like it could actually be the worst. You'll see why. For example, we really didn't see a solid green around these first days. It was more volatile, but not as decisive. Of course, we got a very decisive second pump thanks to Trump, where we can see the worst correction right here out of all the cryptos that I just analyzed. So that's why it was not showing on a solid green circle. The 4 could be potentially very volatile. 3 to 4, we can already see basically right here. I mean, what else did you expect from this? Around the 5 to basically the 8 of March, more yellow days, which again means that we can see some kind of difficulty in reading these days. Maybe some of these days will be completely in range, completely flat range, so it will not be as profitable to trade those days. Around the 6 to the 7 we can see possible corrections, so be aware of this. 9 to 10 corrections again, especially considering this danger zone right here and this opportunity zone, basically volatile days around the 9 to the 11. So be aware of this. I think we're going to see a pattern right here where the circles might lead the way instead of the boxes, because the boxes are basically containing many of the shared days. So I think we can be out of the goods around the 12 to the 13, basically around the 14 to 5 corrections, and the 14 basically begins another danger zone which can extend to the 17. So we're talking about several days right here, so maybe it will see maybe we can see more than one day of very powerful corrections. Okay, in my opinion, the most likely candidate is the 14, is the one that is completely red, but the 15 is very volatile as well. The 17 is also very volatile, so be very aware of this. Be prepared if you see maximum volatility around these days. The 19 to 20, we can see some sort of relaxation, but Ethereum shows something right here that basically no other chart shows, and that's exactly what I was meaning when I told you guys that Ethereum is a chart that looks the worst, because we have very solid connections of red circles, 21, 22, 23, 24, also accompanied by this danger zone right here, 20 to 21. So it's going to be very dangerous to see some kind of corrections right here, okay? We can really see consecutive red days, and if they are very strong, we can see basically Ethereum falling off a cliff. So the 25, 26 shows in the yellow in the circle, but the box right here shows in green. So maybe these days won't be as bad. Maybe if we're lucky, we can see one of these days on a solid green trend, but it's going to be, I think, in my opinion, kind of hard to see. 27 to the 30, basically more range. I think we can really see some of these days. Maybe one of them will be volatile, but I really see basically the price going to sleep around one of these days. And 30 to 31, these are the days that could be the most volatile, okay? So after this opportunity zone, this one could bring the most volatility. What really worries me is also that we finish on the red circle. So if these volatile days end up being corrections, it's going to hurt basically. So yeah. Finally, let's go to the IOTA chart. So the IOTA chart, okay, look at this. Okay, this is going to be a very crazy thing that I have for you. So IOTA, the reason why I really didn't bother with making IOTA, let me show you why. Okay, so the reason why I really didn't bother doing IOTA right here is because, oops, there are some extra content right here. So we have IOTA, and what we can basically see right here is basically a dead coin, in my opinion. I mean, look at this: lower highs, higher lows. Some sort, but the lower highs are really what really worry me the most, because there's basically no incentive to really invest in this kind of coin. I mean, in my opinion, it was a project that was promising basically lots of things, lots of revolutionary stuff, and in the end, as with most other projects, it basically gave us nothing in return. I never invested in IOTA, but from the moment I heard people talking about this, I was very not interested in that. I mean, it smelled like a scam to me. Looking at this chart is really looking like it was a scam. I mean, just imagine all the people who invested around this, around the top, the historical top. So right here is November and December, both months where we saw the all-time high currently for many other cryptocurrencies. For IOTA is like, I mean, look at this. For IOTA, it's 75, basically 76% difference from the top. Okay, so it can even reach half. I mean, it can even reach around this level. So it's really pathetic to me, in my opinion, for that IOTA cannot even go in the biggest pump for money. Many other cryptocurrencies, it can even reach this level. Okay, so IOTA is one project that I really will not invest. I really will not recommend investing. I mean, look at this. Even if you invested at the lower at the bottom of the month of October, at most you could have seen around 5x. Basically, multiply your investments 5 times. That's pathetic, man. I mean, even a meme coin, a very mediocre meme coin, can give you this kind of return. So there's really no incentive for me to do a very detailed chart for IOTA, but what I have instead is the months, at least the 2 next months, this one and April. So for IOTA, it shows me that we can see a red March, like I was fearing, like I was warning about in some of my previous videos. But around the 4th of April, we could see potentially either volatile or uptrend. Okay, 2025 is going to be a green year for IOTA. But 2026, wait. So 2026 is going to be basically a red year for IOTA. Okay. I'm not saying it will be a red year for all cryptocurrencies, just I'm not saying it will be a green year, this one, for all cryptocurrencies. But I really, really hope that basically no people watch this to this point, because I'm giving extremely powerful information. Okay, and this information is something that I really would really like to keep either behind a paywall or to the closest friends of the community. Okay, I'm thinking of rewarding many of you. Especially you, Ferenc or Ferenc. I don't know how to pronounce Hungarian names, but you have really helped me a lot. I see you have been really supportive of my work as well. So you really should be rewarded with some powerful information. But the rest of you, I hope, especially if you are not supportive of my work, let's just say, I hope you have not reached this information just yet. So yeah, that's basically all I have for you. Very crazy month, I think, is going to look like. But we're bullish, guys. We're bullish. I was never bearish. I always follow the money. If I make more money shorting, you bet your ass I'll short these coins straight to hell. If I'm seeing that it can be the opposite, I'm going to long them. So I hope you do as well. I hope you only take profits and only focus on profits. And remember, guys, when people tell you, oh, but the community is so awesome, oh, but the project and the technology is so awesome, I mean, none of that matters. What really matters is what gives us the most money. So having said that, I'll wish you a good day. I hope you have taken some profits, especially the ones of you who have been supportive of my work, paying for my work, giving me donations. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, like, share, and subscribe.